Shalom, 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 yasha'Allah. This your boy, Brother Shamwa Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is just going to be called Press Record. Press Record. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who have ruled well through the Spirit, and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right, like I said, today's lesson is just going to be called Press Record. It's just thinking about earlier today. I did a lesson that I posted maybe a couple hours ago, but I did it earlier this morning and I didn't really like it. It was like a 4-minute video. I was like, but it was crazy because, I got home and just start watching the other brothers' videos, and come to find out they were talking about the same thing. And, when I look at when the video was posted, it was around the same time, right? The Spirit was on the brothers to kind of speak that same kind of song, about, ready to get up out of Babylon type thing, and that's the Spirit. And it's just like, I was going to delete it and let it, it usually deletes after 24 hours, when you put it in the little trash can or whatever. But I had to end up undeleting it, posting it, and putting it out there. And then it kind of just came to mind, just record, right? Sometimes when you might not speak eloquently, you're stuttering, whatever it may be, right? But, sometimes the videos stop, and I know that used to frustrate me a lot. Now, listen, I'm just going to keep going, right? Because a lot of times you be in that flow, in that spirit, and if it's a good continue it on to a part 2, do what you got to do, right? But just press record, all right? And that's the thing, because, and it kind of just showed me that, the brothers is going through the same thing, okay? And just that simple, press record, right? And do a lesson, and then you have a brother like, man, I did a lesson like that early, and it resonates, through the Spirit. Okay, you could be touching another brother from, way across. All right, just by recording. All right, that's the key. Because remember that the scriptures tell you that there's nothing. Don't act like something dramatic is happening to you. I'm kind of paraphrasing. I know I'm kind of throwing it off, but don't think something strange has happened to you like it hasn't happened to other people. Basically, your afflictions and things that you're going through, there's other brothers going through that same thing, right? And sometimes Yahawah sets a group of men together, right, and have you going through the same stuff. And a lot of times you don't even speak about it, but then through your lessons you see like, damn, we're going through the same stuff, right? But you won't know unless you press record. All right. And that one person who might watch your video, that video might have been for him, right? To help feed him, to help energize him at the end of the day. All right. So that's why I say it's important, right? To just press record, right? In the world, I used to tell my cousin, man, stop talking about it and be about it, man. Cousin be talking, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. To the point I just had to look at him like, bro, stop talking about it and just be about it, right? And that's what we got to do. Just press record sometimes, right? And brothers can attest, man. It took me a while to get on here and start doing these lessons. I'm like, nah, I don't like, how I present. I don't like, this, that, and the other. And eventually Yahawah Shai put the Spirit upon me to do these lessons. And now, hey, it's like an addiction, man. I can't stop. And it's not for glory, but it's because it's doing the work, man, and trying to do what's pleasing to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, to edify and feed the sheep, right? And then knowing too that I had so long that I wasn't doing them. Hey, it's like I'm trying to catch up on that extra work, right? The scriptures tell Yahawashi said, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. All right. So right now we do this work. We press record, man. Right. Be going through something, press record. All right. The spirit hits you on with something, press record. All right. You need to do some uplifting, some motivation, exhortation, right? Press record, right? Because you could be helping a brother or sister, man, in the faith, right? But just those few words. And sometimes it only takes a few words. How many times you watch a brother's video and they say one precept and you're like, damn, that's it. And you run with it, right? That's all it takes. But you got to press record. All right. You got to press record and do what? And let the unicorn do the heavy lifting. All right. So this is the book of 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 6 and verse 20. It says, and when the world shall begin to vanish away, shall be finished. It says, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. Okay? They shall see all together. And what is that talking about? It's talking about through the unicorn, right? Which is this internet. Okay? So let's kind of get into it. All right? Let's get into it. Right? They're all going to see together. Right? This the book of Daniel. Right? Daniel. Salakia. Daniel chapter 12 and verse number 4. And it says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. All right. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Right. And we see now that the book is open. Right. Just like 2nd Ezra said, at the end, when the world shall vanish away, the book shall be open and they shall all see together. We're in these times, right? Where the time where the book has been sealed, and guess what? Now it's being opened, right? And knowledge has increased. And we see it, man, right? You have this knowledge. All you got to do is type in stuff at this point and let the unicorn do its work, right? And send you that information, right, in fractions of a second. You have a message to somebody. All you got to do, press record, send it, and it's there. Okay? That's the power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Okay? But knowledge shall be increased in these last days. Okay? And with this knowledge, this technology and these things that are going, right, we see what's going on. Right? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 39 and verse number 9. Okay? It says, will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib? Right? And these are like darks. This is a dark saying, okay? Because this unicorn is talking about the internet. And we're gonna go with some more precepts to help you understand. Hey, and if you can understand, call on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. If you can't, right, that's because the Lord has hidden this wisdom and knowledge from you. Right? It says, will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib? It says, canst thou bind the unicorn with his band in the furrow? It says, or will he harrow the valleys after thee? Will thou trust him because his strength is great? Right? Elder Apostle Gabar always says, the unicorn does the heavy lifting. Okay? Right? We're poor. Right? Yahawashi said, I know the poverty, right? Paraphrasing. And he knows, right? We ain't got money to be traveling and doing this stuff, right? We're here in captivity. All right. So what do we do to reach our people, right? Because the scriptures say that the gospel must be preached throughout the world, and then shall the end come. All right. We see that the end is coming, and we know that the gospel has been preached. But how is it getting there? It's getting there through the unicorn, right? By press and record. Okay. So it says, will thou trust him because his strength is great, right? And the unicorn strength is great. Okay, because you can do this lesson, and this lesson will reach all the way across the other side of the earth. Okay. And you can do it, and it'll be a live stream. Brother will be live sending out information, and somebody across the country, right, or across the world can see this information, and they're all gonna see together, like 2nd Esdras 6 says. All right, that's the strength of the unicorn, right? Esau created this, for his own little scheme, but ultimately, Yahawah had Esau, right, created, right, for the men of Yahawah to use. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, Jake might have even created the internet. Don't quote me on that, right? But it says, will thou trust him because his strength is great, or will thou leave thy labor to him? Right? And that's what we do, right? We speak the words of Yahawah and let the unicorn do the heavy lifting and go ahead and, do its work. All right. It says, will thou believe him that he will bring home thy seed and gather it into thy barn? Right. And that's what the unicorn has been doing. Because most of us who have woken up to this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, to this truth, was done through the unicorn. Right. I can attest. Right. At my lowest point, man. Right. Lost my job. I'm like, damn, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's going on. I had to sit down, literally. And all of a sudden, turned on YouTube, right? Internet. And guess what? Found out, like, damn, hold on, I'm an Israelite? What? So it says, will thou believe him that he will bring home thy seed and gather it into thy barns, right? Because the unicorn is doing that. It's working, okay? You don't have to be like the IUIC and, get on a plane, mission number 132 to Paraguay, to get the 12 tribes scattered. No, right? We let the unicorn do this heavy lifting. All right, let's go to the book of Psalm, right? Psalm 19. We'll start at verse number 1. It says, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Right? And when you look in the firmament, right? And remember, it said the firmament shall be open in 2nd Esdras, right? The firmament shall be open. That's what it said. It said the book shall be open before the firmament. All right. What's in the firmament? You got those satellites, right? That are transmitting the signal, right? That once you press record and you upload it, guess what? That signal is getting sent up into the firmament and then shot back down to wherever it needs to be, right? Yahawah is moving, man, right? It says, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge, right? Because this unicorn, it doesn't sleep all night, all day, every day, right? You can go and you'll see a brother uploading a video, right? A brother uploading a video, another brother, doing a live video, another brother doing a premiere, right? It's constant, okay? So it says, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth the knowledge, right? What knowledge? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, this truth, man. This 100% gospel, this 100% truth is being shot through the firmament across the globe, right? And is reaching the whole planet, okay? It says, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard, all right? It's places brothers ain't been, right? But guess what? It's brothers in Australia. It's brothers in Japan. It's brothers, all across the globe, okay? And this word has reached, right? And it has, woken up those dry bones across the earth, okay? and many languages, right? You got folks out here, I was watching a video in the Philippines, right, where they were talking about, and they said the name Yahawah and Yahawashi, right? So the word is getting out there, right? It says their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, right? Talking about that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? The brightness, the illumination, right? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is being it's gone out through the lines, right? These you have, when you look at it in detail, you have these lines that are run, right, that shoot the internet into these houses. Okay, so let's go to Romans, right? But press record, right? This is your opportunity, right? Press record. Okay, you don't know, who, this word is going to reach, right? You don't have to be elegant in speech, right? You don't have to, have the fancy word. You don't have to have the sound effects. You don't have to have the music. You don't have all you have to do is speak the words of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, like he said. All right. It says Romans chapter 10 and verse number 17. It says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. How was it? Through the unicorn. All right? Through the unicorn, through this technology that's been increasing, right? By simply pressing record, right? It's to the point, this, all you got to do, you don't need, like, you got RUIC talking about you need a fancy 8K camera, you need all that equipment. Nah, man, I got a simple beat up Samsung phone, right? That all I do is press record, show you these scriptures so you can see them for yourself and get edified and get fed, right? It's that simple, right? And I thought, and like I said, I could attest because I'm the one like, oh, no, that's too much, man. That's too much about, other tech, no. And now just seeing how easy it is, man, right? Just press record, right? You going through stuff, man. Hey, somebody could be going through the same stuff, right? Go out there, right? Somebody else might, and guess what? That's the thing about it. Yahawashi Shai's word will go out and it'll reach whoever it needs to reach. Okay? So understand that. Right? It says, but I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words into the ends of the world. Okay? So the words that went out into the end of the world. All right? Do what? Do this unicorn, man. Okay? By pressing record. All right? And understand that, this work, we have to continue. All right? Continue and do this work until the end. All right? Till the Lord says, hey, y'all got to come off the highways and hedges. Right? You got to, hey, nope, it's done. Okay? Because there's coming a time where, it's going to be, like the scriptures say, a famine. All right? A famine of the word. Right now, it's open. Right? It's open for all to see. Right? But not everybody's going to take advantage of that. Okay? Amos chapter 8, verse number 11. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahawah Shai, the Most High Power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahawah Shai. It says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word for Yahawah Shai, and shall not find it. All right, this is the time, right, that the Lord has turned on that faucet, and the water is flowing. This water of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is flowing, and it's overflowing, right? So that everybody who those who have ears to hear and eyes to see can hear it. Right? But it's going to be a time where the Lord is going to cut that valve off. and people are not going to, they're going to be seeking for it, right? Well, where was all that? Where did all that water go? Right? People are going to be looking for it. Hold on, there was so much, all these videos. What happened? Right? It's gonna cease. Right? The Lord is going to remove the prophets and the apostles from off the streets. It's going to be done. Right? The coulda, woulda, shoulda. All right. But this is the time, now to get to do these works. All right. Let's go to 2 Timothy real quick. 2 Timothy 4 and verse number 5. It says, "But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, and do the work of an evangelist. Make full proof of thy ministry." Okay? And remember, the sheep have to eat daily, right? So don't forget to feed the sheep. All you got to do is press record. Feed the sheep, right? It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, long, detailed, right? Straight to the point, Sometimes the sheep just need a snack. Sometimes they need a meal. Sometimes they need a full course meal. All right? However, Yahawah Bahasham gives you, then you do it. Okay? You do it. Okay? While we have this time to do this work. Okay? And guess what? If stuff happens, right? We understand that what? That our works will follow us. Right? What is that? Revelation 14. Start at verse 12. It says, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahawashi. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right, blessed are the dead which die in Yahawah from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them." Okay, and this is the time to do your works. This is the time to get it done, right? Press record, right? Feed and edify the sheep, right? Somebody might not see this video until 6 months from now, right? But it was meant for them 6 months from now, right? You don't know, right? That's why I just say press record. Okay, press record, right? In your blessings, right? In your times of affliction, press record. Talk about it. All right. This is our therapy, man. This is our therapy. All right. This is the scriptures tell you, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right. But we gotta do those works while we can, and just press record. All right. John chapter 9 verse 4 says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. Right. And Yahawashi was telling us. Right. And this is the time, right, to get that work. And all you got to do is press record at the end of the day. All right. And understand that what we have gotten into, right, we are, what does the scripture say? John chapter 4 and verse number 38, it says, I sent you to reap that whereupon ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labors. Okay? So, you're an able-bodied brother, right, who knows this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, this 100% doctrine, is 100% truth. Hey, and you got a phone or something to record, press record, man. Right? Feed and edify the sheep. Okay? Many people haven't been given this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right? And you've been given it, right? Take advantage of it. Utilize it, right? Utilize the talent like Yahawashi, the parable that Yahawashi, spoke about. All right? People are going to tell you, oh, don't, you guys need to be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. Hey, keep pressing record. Right? We're going to keep pressing record. All right? Until Yahawashi tells us that's enough. All right. But until then, we're going to go hard until the end, right? Rawchaa, right? We just keep enduring in this thing. All right. And just remember, press record. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that, right? With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Right? A mighty shalom to the rest of the elect out there. Stay diligent, stay focused. Keep enduring. To you brothers who know this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth, press record. All right. And with that, I'll say shalom.